My whole background had just been like reset by my producer. So hi guys, welcome to my channel. I am Mick. It's been such a long time since I put out my last video, which I feel like I say this every single one of my videos, and like I don't know why, because people don't watch it. I have to preface this video by saying I'm by no means a vlogger, so if you're clicking on this video thinking that you're gonna get a very detailed video recording of my whole trip to Matsu, you are dead wrong, and you will be proven wrong. The truth is, I didn't even go to Matsu thinking that I was gonna film anything. It was just something that I thought I could do during this self-imposed lockdown. This is the first time I'm using a script, by the way. I wrote things down, so I don't know how that will go. Hopefully it'll be fine. Anyway, back to the topic. Yes, I went to Matsu a month ago. Matsu, an island closer to China than it is to Taiwan. It's really close to China, and at first that freaked me out a little bit because China is such a big country and a big power as well, so I'm like, ooh, bird. So the Matsu Isles are consisted of 5 teeny tiny little like islands located in the northwest of Taiwan. So to get to Matsu, you either have to take an 8-hour ferry or a 1.5-hour plane ride. And guess what this bitch, who's a little bit scared of the ocean, took? Yes, I took the ferry. So the ferry to Matsu departed from Keelung Port at around 10 p.m. and as we were looking at the beautiful lights of Keelung Port, the next thing we knew, we were heading out to the Taiwan Strait. Why gotta be straight? There wasn't a lot to show on the ferry except for me brushing my teeth and marveling at the fact that I'm really close to the sea level. And me showing my feet. I know I'm very brave, but my feet are kind of ugly, so I think it's fine. I fell asleep at around 11:30, and to be honest, the whole time that I was asleep, I actually felt pretty great. I don't know, the rocking of the ferry was nice. I stuck my back to the walls of my bunk and basically like rocked with the ferry. Yeah, it was very nice actually, and I just like slept through the whole thing. So 6.5 hours later, we finally see a slither of land. That is the Dongyin Island. I originally wanted to film every single meal that I had on the trip, but seeing as it's kind of disgusting to see me eat, I'm still very interested in the idea of like a mukbang. So if anyone's interested in seeing me do a mukbang of some sorts, let me know. Our first stop is Dongyongtengta, the northernmost lighthouse of Taiwan. As you can see, it was very bright and very hot. The white buildings were really nice, and the white buildings like against the sun also looked really nice. I felt like I was in like Greece or something. Then we went to this place called Yixiantian. It's very hard to explain what Yixiantian is. So it's basically like 2 rocks that like touch each other at the top, but then you can still see through it. The water tunnels are a hallmark of Matsu since it's really close to China. It was basically seen as the first line of defense when it comes to, you know, warfare and all that. So during the Okie Smoky olden days, they had soldiers dig out these war tunnels to use for war, and the one at Yixiantian was actually open just a couple years ago, so it was very clean, it was very bright. And speaking of war tunnels, our next stop is Andongkengdao. Now this one is the most fucked up one because it is 464 steps underground. And for some reason, I couldn't find how deep it actually is. It's just deep. It's 464 steps deep. Like, it's just deep. I thought it was really cool if you can get over the fact that you have to like climb 928 steps to go down and back up again. Down there you could actually see the living quarters of the soldiers and everyone, basically how they lived, which is like very wet and very like dark. Of course, other than looking at the water tunnels, the water tunnel actually had multiple openings to look out to the ocean. So the dreaded way up above ground was actually way better than I had anticipated. It was terrible, but like it wasn't bad. I don't know how to explain to it. Not only is Matsu very heavy on the military, it's also extra heavy on the propaganda. So Zhongshu-dao is where you can see this very clearly. So in front of us is us overlooking the beautiful ocean. And behind us is the very large, very prominent nationalist party symbol. You know, some people might be very confused as to why this would be here, But if you know even just a little bit about the history of Taiwan, you'll know that this absolutely makes sense. Ooh, so this is the Crocodile Peninsula. Can you see it? It's very cute. So the next day, we took the early ferry to our next stop, Nangan. Now, Nangan is the center of the Matsu Isles. It is where the only Starbucks is. So Nangan is also where the famous Gaoliang liquor is being produced. Earlier, I mentioned the war tunnels of Matsu, and the wet, cold, and moist environment of the war tunnels make the perfect place to store and age the Gaoliang. Our next stop is Cinyang Cafe. Now, this is a very, very special place, and if you have the chance to go to Matsu, please, you have to go to Cinyang Cafe. Because at first glance, this is just a really small, quaint, cute, kind of like shabby cafe. But when you go in and you go downstairs, the basement, there's a war tunnel down there. There's a tunnel down there. How many cafes have you been to that has a war tunnel? So this is actually a very cool place. It's a top-notch cafe for me, and there's also a dog that like tried to bite my palm off, but that's fine. Our next stop is Beihai Kengdao, a war tunnel that is flooded with seawater. Now this tunnel is special because this is where you will most likely see the blue tears phenomenon. And actually, like the shirt that I'm wearing right here, blue tears, 蓝的眼泪, like blue tears. The blue tears is basically a bioluminescent algae. This phenomenon is very beautiful, but very rarely you can see it with your naked eye. So basically, to see it, you will have to meet some of these like requirements. So first, you have to have enough bioluminescent algae gather in one place. It will have to be dark enough because if there's any light, you won't be able to see it. And the third one is that you'll have to be in a place that the algae can react to. So basically, how it works is that the lighting up part of the algae is a self-defense mechanism that they have whenever they feel threatened. You usually see the phenomenon around like rocks or by the seashore. So the pictures and videos that you see online of this phenomenon are most likely overexposed or taken with equipment that honestly I do not have. And if you think that I could get a decent picture of the blue tears with my outdated iPhone 10, you are dead wrong. But if a sugar daddy wants to buy me the newest iPhone 12 Pro Max with the yellow iMac. But to be honest, we were very lucky to be able to see the blue tears 4 out of 4 nights that we were there, because normally you have to meet a very specific criteria to be able to like see it. So Beihai Kengdao is the place you go if you want to see it, like guaranteed, but even then, like, it's not guaranteed. So the tunnel also offers this thing called the Blue Tears tour. They basically put you on a gondola and you face outwards, and they give you a stick. They turn off the lights in the tunnel, so it's like pitch dark, and you just like get the stick with the spatula and you just like start hitting the water basically, and it will light up. Like, it's very cool. And I don't have videos of it, but I have some pictures that my friend took with their Pixel phone, so yeah, I'll just put them somewhere around here, or you know, whatever. So yeah, so after we saw the beautiful blue tears, we went to visit the main diva of Matsu, Matsu. So Matsu is the goddess of safe ocean travel and basically like overall like safety of everyone in Taiwan. So you have Matsu temples all around Taiwan to keep everyone safe, and she's iconic. So a huge statue of Matsu was erected in Nangan because why the hell not? The only reason I can think of is because Matsu sounds like Matsu, and because the Matsu Isles is surrounded by water, so it makes sense for her to like overlook the ocean. So next day we took a 10-minute ferry to the bright and sunny Beigan. So one of the things that differentiate Beigan from all the other like islands in Matsu is that Beigan actually has beaches with sand. So if you're like a beach goer and you want to enjoy the beach, Beigan is where it's at. It's also amazing to find out that our hostel is actually like 10-minute walk. Not even 10 minutes, it's like a 3-minute walk. No, not even 3. 2-minute walk to the airport. Then we went to the most well-known village in Beigan, Qinbi. I didn't take a lot of footage of Chimpy, but as I had mentioned in the beginning of this video that I'm a terrible vlogger, so you guys will just have to deal with it. I have some pictures of the night view and all that stuff, and it's just look at the photos, like look at the material. And eventually we went down to the beach near the village and just took an afternoon nap there. And when I woke up, I felt like I was like Christopher Columbus or something. Like I woke up and suddenly there's this like new land in front of me, like across the ocean. I was like, oh shit, like what the fuck is it? I went on my phone and I looked at Google Maps and it's China. I knew that Matsu was very, very close to China, but up until that point, I had not seen China at all. Like the only time that I was that close to China was probably when I went to Hong Kong. And now this is the second time. Like I'll probably not ever be like that close to China ever again. So yes, and that night we actually went out to some of the beaches to see if we can catch the blue tears, and god damn, like that was the most beautiful sight that I've ever seen in my life. When we were in Nangan, the blue tears that we saw were in like a tunnel, and we had to like, you know, use the paddle to like hit the water for it to like show up. But in Beikan, it was like we didn't have to do anything. Like the waves crashed into the sand, just like the whole thing just lit up in front of our eyes, and I was like, yeah, you'll have to experience it for yourself someday. So after that, we went back to sleep, and in the morning we had breakfast and walked to the beach, like down the road, and poked a jellyfish. And then we went to the airport to head back to Taiwan. But like the fucked up thing was that literally 10 minutes before we were gonna board our flight, we found out that there was an outbreak of the in Taiwan, and at that moment we were like, oh shit, like what do we do? Should we just not get on the plane and like be like, oops, we missed it, let's stay for another 2 weeks, or like go back and like face reality? But I had to work, my boyfriend had to work, so like, okay, I guess we had to go back to Taiwan. But at last we are here, and I was very glad that I had the chance to go to Matsu. And seeing the blue tears was basically like one of the best experiences of my entire life. I would never forget it, ever. I know I didn't have a lot of footage to show. I even had to like go into my like Instagram stories to see what footage I could show you. But like, trust me when I say that no amount of video can convey the absolutely beauty that is Matsu. And if you want to see the Instagram stories that I posted on my trip, you can go to Instagram at Nickelodeon. I have a collection on there that you can go check out. See y'all next time.